It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Hey Sonos, what's playing now?
This is Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious by Julie Andrews, Dick Van Dyke, and the Pearly Chorus from Apple Music.
Well, not very accurate, but not bad. As of the 1st of June 2022, Sonos has launched a voice control feature for their product lineup, at least for those with a mic that is built into the product itself. It is available in US English, but it doesn't limit to the products and users in US itself. It is available in Singapore and users around the world as long as your product is set to communicate in US English. So it is not able to respond to and respond in languages other than US English. And all you need is the Sonos S2 version 14.8.1 as well as the firmware updated on your Sonos products to 14.8 and you're good to go. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at how this works and how well it works. Now, as usual in my video, I try to go very in-depth in any of the Sonos products or any wireless audio products that I try to cover. And today is no exception, but upfront, I'd like to give you a very quick summary and overview of the Sonos Voice Control feature. It is stated to be very, very safe and secure. It uses the mic, but it sends none of the voice input to the internet, to their servers. Everything is being processed locally. So that also means that it is very, very fast and responsive. You're not dependent on an internet connection for this to work. And when you say, hey Sonos, increase the volume to 20, it does exactly that without having to send this to the servers and processing it and coming back, making that round trip. Therefore, making it very, very fast. And for those of you with security concern and are worried about people listening onto you, this is a guarantee that nobody will be listening to the voice commands that you are issuing, or when you accidentally call the wake word and you say something that is supposed to be kept within the four walls in your room. Nobody's going to be listening to it because it's not going to be sent to the internet. Now, the voice control is being voiced by Giancarlo Esposito. Now, this person's voice is very, very soothing, very, very rapsy in a way. And it is a very big departure from the usual Siri or the Google Assistant or even the Alexa, which is a very feminine voice. Of course, you can change the voice assistant on those other voice assistants, but this is different, right? And there's only one voice. You can't choose any other voice or any other accent to go with. Giancarlo gives a very soothing, a very commanding voice, very human touch to it, if I may say that. And if I look at my channel viewers, 99% of you guys are male. Not to alienate any of the genders, but the channel visitors are mostly male. Buyers of Sonos products are mostly male anyway. I think the choice of this Hollywood superstar is actually a very good choice. The sound is soothing, it is commanding, it is reassuring. I don't know any other adjectives to use in this except that I really kind of enjoy the commanding voice. Let me give you an example. Hey Sonos, increase volume on the Sonos Beam Gen 2 to 20%.
Turning volume up on Beam Gen 2.
And it works on the Sonos Roam as well, even though it is a Bluetooth connection right now and it doesn't have to go through the Wi-Fi. It doesn't also rely on a connection to your smartphone or your smart device that has an internet connection. Everything is being processed locally. Hey Sonos, increase the volume on the Sonos Roam to 50%. Yep, and the beep was that to signify that the command has been accepted and executed. Hey Sonos, play music on the Sonos Roam. Hey Sonos, pause the music. So for now, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail in the whole Sonos voice control system. So first off, I'm going to be talking about all the commands that you can issue to the Sonos voice control system. There are a couple of things and I have to refer. I thought it was a simple video, but actually it is quite comprehensive. So there are a couple of things which I'm going to be posting a link down below. This link was contributed by one of the viewers, Jeroen van Ruler from Netherlands. So the link is down in the video description down below. I'm going to pin a comment with his comment, his link actually to all the commands that you can issue to the Sonos Voice Control. So thank you, Jeroen. Thank you very much on behalf of all the viewers of this channel. So I can't possibly go through all the commands, so I'll give you the groups of commands and the things that you can do with the Sonos Voice Control. Subsequently, I'll tell you how to enable it and what are the limitations that are with the Sonos Voice Control. All right, so first off, you can control your music. You can play and pause like what I've done earlier. So you can do things like, hey Sonos, play music on the Sonos Roam. Hey Sonos, reduce volume to 20%. Okay, so it gets a little bit softer. You can also pause the music, you can mute, you can unmute, you can skip track, you can reverse track, you can repeat, you can replay the track. So plenty of things you can do with it. So you can do things also like grouping the music together and ungrouping the music from the speakers. I have the Sonos Beam Gen 2 here, I have the Sonos Roam, which is actually grouped together right now, and you can ungroup them just by issuing the command. Hey Sonos, ungroup the Sonos Beam Gen 2 and the Sonos Roam.
Do you want to ungroup Beam Gen 2 or Sonos Beam Gen 1?
Sonos Beam Gen 2. Hey Sonos, stop the music on Sonos Roam.
Stopping on the Sonos Roam.
And from there, the music is still playing on the Sonos Beam Gen 2 without interrupting the music on the Sonos Roam. So you can ask things like informational stuff as well, like, hey Sonos, what's the time now?
It is 2:52 p.m.
Okay, and that was the Sonos Roam responding, hey Sonos, what is the time now?
It is 2:52 p.m.
Okay, but try this. Hey Sonos, what is the date today? It can't tell the date. It can tell the time, but it can't tell the date. And I wonder why. I am sure that they will be getting around this in a subsequent update. You can also ask the battery level for those devices that run on the battery, which is like the Sonos Roam and the Sonos Move. Hey Sonos, what is the battery level?
The battery is fully charged.
Okay, and there you go. And for those of you who are setting it up on the Sonos Beam Gen 2, Sonos Beam Gen 1, or the Sonos Arc, you can actually use it to control your TV as well. You can use it to turn on the TV and turn off the TV. You can also use it to turn on the night mode or the speech enhancement mode. Well, on and off, toggle it on and off. You're also able to switch into TV mode as well as music mode on those devices. So basically, those are the controls that are available on the Sonos Voice Control system. And I will now speak a little bit about my opinion after having used it for the last 1 week or so. I was actually down with COVID for the past 1 week, and therefore you saw very, very few videos coming from me. In fact, I didn't even post any videos because my voice was kind of affected. And in fact, my voice is sounding kind of still nasal at the moment. I hope you find that okay, but I'm recovering well. I've tested negative as of yesterday, so everything is good. Don't worry about that. But back to my experience using the Sonos Voice Control. It is a voice control system. It is not a voice assistant, not like Alexa, not like a Google Assistant, and definitely not like Siri. You can't ask it for the local news. You can't ask it to check things on the internet. You can't play games with it. It is not that complex. It is not that deep a solution. What it does, it allows you to control your Sonos setup. Now, it is a control mechanism. It is not an assistant. You can't ask it to set a timer or to find out what your schedule is like or how long it takes to travel to work just before you leave your home. That can be handled by the Google Assistant. It can be handled by Siri or any number of voice assistant that is available out there in the market today. The Sonos voice control system is very, very specific. It controls Sonos devices. So all those controls that I've linked below in the video description and the controls that I've demonstrated earlier, they are meant to control the Sonos setup that you have. And to that end, it works very well because you don't have to actually go to the internet. You don't have to send the commands to the internet onto the server for it to be processed, for it to grab the information before it comes back to you. And therefore, it is very secure, like I said in my upfront summary, and it is very, very fast. The response is lightning quick. You don't have to actually use the wake word, hey Sonos, and wait for it to ding and ring the bell before you give the command. You can just, hey Sonos, play some music, and it starts moving from there.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Well,
Please use the Sonos app.
Okay, so when it doesn't understand, it asks you to use the Sonos app. So I should pause after I give the command, hey Sonos, play music on the Sonos room. And it starts playing. You can also increase the volume and decrease the volume. Hey Sonos, increase volume on the Sonos room to 50%.
Turning volume up on the Sonos room.
Hey Sonos, pause. Hey Sonos, play. Pause. Play. Pause. As you have noticed, I didn't have to activate the wake word. There is a window of time where you issue the command, and for a short period after, you can issue subsequent command without saying the wake word. So you can play the music and then increase the volume subsequently without having to use the wake word. So that is actually pretty useful. Now, the voice of Giancarlo is not a recorded voice. I know they did sample the voice, so what they do is that they ask him to pronounce a couple of words. So for example, you're trying to pronounce the word desperado here. They didn't ask Giancarlo to record the word desperado. They asked him to record all the consonants and all the sounds that will make up desperado, like desperado. And it synthesizes that because there are so many words in the English dictionary, right? There are like 45,000 or maybe even more than that. And it can't ask the actor to come up with all those words recorded and download the entire recorded library. It uses a synthesis, so it uses the phonics to then play back the words, and the sound is actually very, very accurate. It's very human sounding, and I like that a lot. And one of the things that you have to take note is that because it doesn't require the internet, because it sends nothing over online, you can actually use it even on the Sonos Roam as well as the Sonos Move, even if you're on a Bluetooth connection. So it doesn't require the Bluetooth connection to be to a smart device where it's then relaying the instruction to your phone before it goes to the internet, comes back down to the phone, and then pass the instruction back and play back. It doesn't work that way. Everything is localized on this one little machine here, and you don't have to worry about privacy issues, and you definitely won't have to worry about latency as well. Everything is processed here inside this without going anywhere else. I know I've been repeating that a lot, but it is a big thing. And one of the things that a lot of smart speakers users are looking out for is the security, right? And that's why Sonos has the Sonos One and the Sonos One SL, because of privacy concerns. People don't want their voices to be sent over to the internet, and that's how Google Assistant works, that's how Alexa works, and that's how Siri works. On the Sonos voice control system, nothing of that sort. So, which is kind of like self-explanatory in why it is not going to give you all the smarts that you want. It doesn't have to access your calendar or anything online to give you the information. Everything is stored locally, controlled locally. So the next thing I want to be talking about is what it works with. The Sonos voice control system, as a rule of thumb, it works with any of the Sonos devices that has a mic built in. So that will include the Sonos Roam, the Sonos Move, the non-SL version of the Sonos Roam at least, and you have the Sonos Beam and you have the Sonos Arc, at least not the Shadow edition, not the SL edition. On the Sonos One, it will work, not the Sonos One SL. It won't work on the Sonos Fives because those do not have a microphone built in. It won't work on the newest soundbar, which is the Sonos Ray, because that doesn't have a mic built in as well. And a couple of other products from Sonos that won't work includes the Sonos Amp, the Sonos Pod, and the Sonos, well, anything that works on the Sonos S1 wouldn't work on this because the Sonos Voice Control requires the Sonos S2 app to work. So the older speakers like the Sonos Play 3s, while they can go on the Sonos S2 app, don't have a mic, so that won't work as well. And the entire series of the IKEA Symphonics bookshelf speakers, the lamp, the picture frame, they all won't work because they don't have a mic that is built in. And the Sonos voice control system is also currently limited to a few music services. The Sonos Radio will work, the Amazon Music will work, Apple Music will work, and you have Deezer and Pandora. And one big missing gap is Spotify. So it doesn't work with Spotify. A lot of users are out there using Spotify, but currently it doesn't work on that. So if you ask Sonos what is playing, it can only pull out information for those songs that are on those services, as well as play songs or playlists from those services that I've mentioned earlier in the list here. Okay, so one of the last things I'm going to be talking about is how to actually set it up. So you have heard about what Sonos Voice Control is, and I have shown you a demonstration of how it works, how well it works, and you might be wondering how you're going to set it up. Actually, the process is quite simple. I'm doing a screen cap here, and you can take a look at the screen cap to see how you go about doing it. Firstly, you just go into launch the Sonos S2 app, go into the setup, and you can then go into the voice control panel. So you have to take note also that you are going to have to use Sonos S2 app version 14.8.1, and as of the 1st of June 2022 onwards, that should be the version that you're going to be running, and that supports the Sonos voice control. All your firmware version on your speakers should be at 14.8, and if it is not, the app will actually prompt you to update it, and you just wait 2 or 3 minutes. It will update the firmware, and you can then install voice control from there. But just take note that if you are using Google Assistant at the moment, activating Sonos voice control is going to disable the Google Voice Assistant. So don't ask me why that works, because there was a recent split between Google and Sonos, of which Sonos won the lawsuit over the whole debacle, but these two services are not compatible. Alexa and Sonos voice control can coexist on the same speaker, but it won't work with Google Assistant. It will only work with Alexa. So in a parting note, I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the limitations that you're going to be facing when you're using the Sonos voice control. You just have to manage your expectation. Again, they named it Sonos Voice Control, not Sonos Voice Assistant. So there's a big difference between control and assistant. Control allows you to control the whole system. Just think of it as a voice remote control, right? So because none of the Sonos products ship with a handy remote control, so you actually have to use the app itself on the Sonos S2 app itself, or you have to actually press the capacitive buttons on the device itself. But voice control allows you to skip all that. You can just talk directly, and it is a very handy form of control. It is not an assistant. So when it asks for things like, time, you can ask and it will respond with the time. Hey Sonos, what is the time now?
It is 3:05 p.m.
Okay, so now you know what the time is now. Well, when you ask for time, it responds. But when you ask for things like, what is the date, what activities do I have on, how long will it take for me to travel to the town center from here, it won't work, because it doesn't actually check all those services online. It is not a smart assistant. It is a voice control feature. So time, you think of it as a bonus. It can't tell you the date for some strange reasons. And that's it. But even without an internet connection, you're supposed to be able to do things like start a timer or start a countdown or something. But you can leave that to Siri or Google Assistant or Alexa to do that. Sonos voice control is not meant and not engineered to do that piece. Maybe at some point in time they will get around to it, but I guess for now there's really no need to clutter the whole voice control system with all these additional functionality, which the competition is already coming up with and already solving the problem for majority of us. So voice control, think of it as just a control system, a remote control for all your Sonos devices with a microphone. In fact, you can also control the rooms and the devices without a mic, as long as you have one device with a mic, because you can use it to control the other device. Like for example, I can ask it to play the song on my Sonos amp, which doesn't have a mic itself, but because I'm using this and it's connected to the Sonos amp, it can actually send the instruction to the Sonos amp to play the music on the Sonos amp. Actually, that happened slightly earlier when I mispronounced something.
Playing on the Sonos amp.
Hey Sonos, stop the music on the Sonos amp.
Stopping on the Sonos amp.
So the last issue that I'm going to be talking about is the confusion when you have two Sonos devices, right? Right now, I have the Sonos Roam here and I have the Sonos Beam Gen 2 here. And when I try to issue an instruction, I'm actually not very sure which one is going to pick up. If you know that you are only within earshot of one of the devices, you can just say increase the volume, and it will increase the volume on the device that is being picked up. But if you are in the room with two devices, you actually have to be very specific about your voice instruction when you say increase volume on which device. And earlier it asked me, should I increase the volume on the Sonos Beam Gen 1 or the Sonos Beam Gen 2? Because I have the Beam Gen 1 in another room in my house. Oh, speaking about room, this, as a parting shot, right? This is a new setup that I have. It is half done. I am not happy with the results yet. I have not put up the shelvings. I have not put up the whole place. I have not actually done the paint job as well. I stuck on some wallpaper. So this is the new look that I have for the videos that I'm going to be coming up from today onwards. The room is probably not very soundproof. There's a horn blaring from a car. I hope that it's not being picked up by the mic right now. But if you do hear it, just bear in mind that the room is not complete. But this is the kind of lighting, this is the kind of voice, the sound recording that you can expect from my videos moving forward. I have now moved my entire studio, or rather half the studio, because I don't have space to fit all the mics here yet, but I will be slowly moving and migrating to this space. So for those of you who have found value in my videos, I'm going to be putting a QR code here and it links to my Patreon account. If you feel like throwing some coffee money at me, I do welcome that, and it's your way of showing support for my channel here. For those of you who have made it this far in my video, and for those of you who have made it through the advertisements that come out during my videos, I thank you for that. That is also one way that I get remunerated for the effort and time that I spend in coming out with these videos. So thank you again for your kind support shown to me over the last 1-2 years of my time. And I promise the next half a year to be a very, very exciting time for Sonos lovers out there. I know that there will be another product that is coming out in the later part of the year, probably, July onwards, I don't know, right? This is June, it's the first half of the year. In terms of financial year, we are actually in the second half of the financial year for Sonos, which the financial year, I think it starts in November, if I'm not mistaken. So hang on tight, we will see more. I am going to be making a few more videos for the Sonos Ray before I have to return the Sonos Ray. And stay tuned, I will be doing a shootout between the Sonos Ray, the Sonos Beam Gen 2, as well as the Sonos Arc. So if you are interested in that kind of video, do subscribe, leave a like on this video so that it can be recommended to more people to help me grow the channel. I thank you, and I'll see you in my next video.